3:30 a.m., February 14th, 2022. February 14th, February 15th, and February 16th are critical dates in human history. My name is Coach JB. I am the top health, mindset, and crypto coach in the world. What you believe in your heart, you think in your mind will eventually become your words and become your reality. If you can see it in your mind, eventually you can hold it right here in your hands. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. Let me repeat that. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What you repeatedly do, see, gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. Hear gets ingrained in your subconscious mind, becomes an unconscious activity. Now, what I'm going to present to you today, now remember, I'm not left, I'm not right, I'm not up, I am down. I'm just a human being having a physical experience. I do not pick sides. I do not pick anti-V, pro-V. I do not pick pro-mask, no mask, C or C. What I do is I present information to allow you to make an informed decision to help your family become one of the richest people in the world, to change the narrative instead of being an armchair quarterback. That's what I plan on doing. I'm not here to help you decide anything. What I always say is don't trust a word I say, but instead trust the feeling and vibration it creates in your body and act accordingly. Some of you may think this information is complete bullshit and act accordingly. Some of you may say, that's interesting. Act accordingly. Dive in. And some of you may be like, yes, I feel your vibration. I'm rising with you. And let's go. Let's go out there and free our families by becoming the best version of ourselves. So let's dive into it today. So one of my favorite economists, as I share, if you went through the Red Pill Bootcamp, which is going to be available once again very, very soon, working on it right now, is Ray Dalio. It's one of the economists that I love learning from, learn watching. And so first we're going to watch a video of on Ray Dalio's website, Principles by Ray Dalio. We're going to watch the value of understanding the cycle of history to deal with today and what's next. Okay. Now, remember, we just came out of the Coliseum yesterday. Does that sound familiar? Everybody's hungover Super Bowl show. Everybody's raving about it. Everybody's going to be posting about it. Everybody's going to come up with their own controversies on who won and who didn't win. But the fact is, we were all in a Coliseum or paying attention to a Coliseum yesterday. And today, the population's going to be hungover and drunk, right? Not focused. People are going to be calling into work like crazy. And as everybody's looking this way at these lavish Super Bowl shows, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. Okay. So your whole economy is being shifted. So first, let's understand the principles of economics and what's happening in human history.
The times ahead will be radically different from those we've experienced in our lifetimes, though similar to many times before. How do I know that? Because they always have been. In order to deal with what's happening today, we must learn the lessons of the past to see that the circumstances we are now facing have in fact happened many times before and fall into a big cycle that repeats over and over again. The most powerful empires in the world followed this cycle for over 500 years. And every time they did, it was a sign of the changing world order.
Okay, so it's not an advertisement for his book, but I highly recommend you go check out Ray Dalio's book. So the changing world order, literally you can see that where we're at right now, our living truth that we are living, there's three things present right now. Three things present, okay? Three things present. He's going to talk about them in the next video. No, he's not going to talk about all three, but I highly recommend you study this stuff. It'll give you peace to understand of where our economy is going and that this is all by design. That's why I never panic. I never trip. I buy the dip. I know that they're manipulating the stock market. They're manipulating the crypto market. So I'm going to show you why these dates, February 14th, 15th, and 16th are so critical because they're moving us into a whole nother narrative, right? You know, Joe Rogan just recently got completely bashed by the media, right? In regards to, and I'm not taking sides again, about his bringing on some doctors around the C word, right? And what's happening, you're seeing a flip. The media is being turned against, and so they're going to move the narrative to a whole different direction, which I'm going to show you, okay? So we're going to watch Ray Dalio here. This is on Greenwich Economic Forum, Ray Dalio, The Changing World Order. So we're going to watch a little bit of this interview here to kind of give you a little bit of context, and then I'll take you through the specific dates.
And then, of course, the rise of China as a in a war, trade war, technology war, geopolitical war, capital war type of environment, could be even a military war. It's conceivable. That's the environment that we're in.
So a lot to unpack there. Let's start off with a couple of questions. Firstly, do you presume that the Fed raises rates in the next year? And can the market sustain that given this rising tide and rising dependency on free money?
Okay, so super important, because that goes into one date, okay, that I'm going to present right after this.
You will probably have what I call a mock charge that as we look ahead, there's going to be, despite all this fiscal stimulation, there's going to be a lesser amount of it. And so there's a fiscal cliff that's going to come in the next year, slower input. But there's going to be a much higher level of inflation.
Okay, so right after this interview, a little bit later, I think it was December, Jerome Powell announced that they are tapering, taking us off life support. And then today, there's an emergency meeting today, and it goes into exactly what he predicted right here.
So that I suspect that there will be there'll be tapering, and maybe I couldn't tell you whether there's a minor rate rise. Because the duration of assets, and that also means interest rate sensitivity of assets has increased, that it won't take much of a rate rise to have a significant negative effect on asset prices. And I think that would produce a correction that would then respond to another round. So if you look at interest rate changes, Fed policy changes since 1980, every interest rate peak and every interest rate trough since 1980 through all the cycles until we hit zero was lower than the one before it. More stimulation took. And then if you look at since then, when quantitative easing was the way of easing, every quantitative easing stimulant was greater than the one before it. So I think that we're going to have that cycle continue because there's going to need be another big round of that, which means that the number one thing is don't hold cash for a move. You may have a correction. I'm not saying you don't want to have a correction in other markets, but to have a good balanced portfolio and really not to own cash and not to own bonds as an investment. You might have a correction in those bonds, but the supply-demand picture is going to be a problem. So that means other assets, a diversified portfolio of other assets.
Okay, so, sorry, I think I turned my mic down here. So like I said, you only need a microphone and a computer. We're getting a fancy studio coming up, but I've been doing this with just a microphone and computer, moving it back and forth. So just to encourage you guys, you don't need some fancy setup to get started. I've been doing this with just this microphone, my computer, and a dual monitor screen at both my places. But anyways, let's get ready to rock and roll. Let's keep moving here. Okay, so key. I told you February 14th, February 15th, February 16th. We just came out of the Coliseum yesterday, right? Everybody's in the Coliseum like the Roman days. And then today, as everybody's hungover and drunk and not paying attention, we have an emergency closed board meeting on February 14th, 2022. Ray Dalio was sharing and predicting that they're going to raise interest rates. He said he wasn't too sure, but he figured they were going to taper. So they're tapering, raising interest rates, taking us off life support. Okay, so you may see a unfavorable response to the markets in regards to this. So I always say don't trip, buy the dip. Make sure you're in fundamental cryptocurrencies or fundamental investments and hold long term. Warren Buffett's not going to jump out of the stock market because it's overvalued right now, right? He's buying things that are going to be here for the long term. So it is anticipated that the closed meeting of the Board of Governors and the Federal Reserve at 11:30 a.m. Monday, February 14th, will be held under expedited procedures as set forth in Section 261B. The board's rules, regular public observation meetings at the board's office, the 20th, doesn't matter, I don't know why I'm reading that, review and determination of the Board of Governors and the advanced discount rates to be charged by the Federal Reserve banks. So they basically are going to raise interest rates, warriors. I'd be shocked if they have an emergency meeting to lower interest rates. Doesn't make any sense, right? So February 14th, they're raising interest rates. We just came out of the Coliseums, which is the Super Bowl. And then ironically, which is interesting, okay? So ironically, and this is not so, like, please know, if you believe in the C word, you believe in mask, whatever, this is just listen to what I'm saying. Just listen to what I'm saying. This has nothing to do with anything. These are just facts, okay? Everyone is required to wear a mask in indoor public spaces until February 15th. What happens on February 15th? All of a sudden, the C word changes, like it just disappears, or they just have a prediction? Or so on February 15th, that specific date, all of a sudden in California, this is California specifically, one of the hardest hit states with COVID in regards to the rules, right? Indoor public spaces, February 15th, you're done. No more masks. Workplace until February 15th, 2022. Done. Public transit. Interesting. Healthcare settings, including long care facilities, right? But in workplaces and indoor public spaces, you no longer have to wear your mask as of the 15th. So we have the Coliseum yesterday. Everybody's in the Coliseum. Everybody's hungover. They're going to raise interest rates today. All of a sudden in California, one of the worst hit states like New York, another really, really hard hit state. All of a sudden in California, you don't have to wear a mask on the 15th. And then on the 16th, Russia set to invade Ukraine on February 16th, reported. The plans were passed on to Biden's government and discussed in a series of secret briefings with NATO allies, a report claimed. Now, this doesn't mean, I'm not saying people are going to bash me in the comments, we're not going to war with Russia. What America will do is it's already deploying to protect the NATO countries. We know Ukraine stepped out of the protection of the NATO countries, right? And basically Biden saying, hey, if you're in NATO or if you're in Ukraine, get out. If you're an American, we're not coming to get you. He basically, that's his words. He said, we're not coming to get you. Get out if you're an American. Okay, so the world is all a stage, warriors. It's all a stage. You're literally watching a play out. Please go study Ray Dalio. Please understand what you are invested in is the new world economy. What you're invested in is how you're going to do your voting in the future. What you're invested in is how you're going to transact at a bank in the future. Everything's going to be done on a blockchain, okay? So it's problem, reaction, solution. Here is my prediction, just my prediction. You can come back to this video and say this aged well or didn't age well, is that the narrative is going to start falling in regards to the C word, okay? Now we're going to have a war. The war is going to take the attention, right? The war is going to take the attention. The war is going to take the attention of the sheep. Everybody's going to look over here. And then after war, it is a massive change in a global system. Study history, okay? Pandemics, health pandemics change the world. They change it to a certain point. The narrative is getting shattered now. Think about Joe Rogan. They attacked Joe Rogan and people flipped it on him and actually reversed back and attacked the media, okay? And you're going to get different narratives on this, but they flipped and Spotify backed them up and they're like, oh shit, the people are turning on us. Canada, the people are turning on us. Oh shit. Let's go to war. Everybody look over here. It's just, it's been like this. It's nothing new under the sun. This is biblical, warriors. That's why it says it's nothing new under the sun. That's why I'm sitting here smiling, because I'm making moves based on it. Literally, I know the game, so I can't be played. So I'm making financial moves. I'm making my investment in my asset moves. And I'm staying in my fundamental cryptocurrencies. If it goes up, I teach this in the Warrior Academy. In the Warrior Academy, click the description down below. You can fill out an exit strategy. If it goes up, I exit the market. But what's happened is a lot of people have gotten into crypto as it's gone down, and they're like, I'm upside down. Sit tight. Don't trip. Buy the dip. What that means is when they dip these markets, guess what the elites are doing? They're buying. We're buying, okay? Then when it goes up, you're literally rushing into buy cryptocurrency because everybody's talking about it, and we're selling you our cryptocurrency. And when it goes down, we buy. When it goes up, we sell. It's very simple, words. You just have an exit plan. You exit on the way up, different stages on the way up, and you buy on the way down. It's not that complex. And you just follow human behavior and human history. Whereas the world is a stage. We're literally sitting in the Truman Show. We're watching this shit play out. It's exact historical. It's not exact. I'm sorry. It's not it doesn't repeat itself. It's a rhyme every single time, warriors. It's a rhyme every single time. So when you start to see it, people will say you're tinfoil hat, or I feel awakened to a new reality that I can see these things. I got to see it in banking. I was in banking. I got to see the deep plumbing of banking and how it works. And when a crisis happens in a bank, how people protect themselves. I got to see it. I got to see people throwing people under the bus, people protecting themselves. I was put in fake news. If you watch my video on Saturday, I was put in fake news, and I know why. I know why, in my opinion, I was put in fake news. Think about that for just a moment. When people are backed in the corner, they get people to look over here. That's what narcissists do. They use manipulative behaviors. They use conversations. They say certain things to make it look like it's your fault, or look like you caused it, or it was your decision. It's nothing new under the sun, warriors. All I'm doing is presenting information. Do you see how I don't take sides? I'm not taking sides. I'm just saying, hey, listen, here's the game. I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to get the money, and then I'm going to change the narrative. Instead of being an armchair quarterback like 99% of people sitting there watching the Super Bowl yesterday, I'm in the game calling the plays. It's your opportunity, warriors. I appreciate you. I love you. As we always say, warriors, let's get your shit together. Click the description of this video, everything you need, and the support to get your shit together. Let's go.